In the summer of 2023, Canada experienced its worst and driest fire season since 1980. Forests burned for 5 months and released around 640 million metric tons of carbon into the atmosphere, comparable to the annual fossil fuel emissions of a large industrialized nation. That is not a freak accident. That is a warning, because wildfires are getting bigger, more frequent, and more deadly, and climate change is the reason why. Fire is actually a natural part of many ecosystems. It clears dead plants, makes room for new life, and keeps forests healthy. But what we're seeing today is far beyond natural. Over the past 20 years, the amount of land burned in the United States has grown dramatically. Fire seasons now extend into autumn and even winter. Parts of the western U.S., Mexico, Brazil, and East Africa now have fire seasons more than a month longer than they were just 35 years ago. So what changed? Climate change. Think of climate change as the world's most dangerous fire starter. Rising temperatures evaporate moisture from soil and plants, drying out trees, shrubs, and grass, and turning fallen leaves and branches into kindling. Droughts are getting longer and more severe, weakening trees and creating more dead wood for fires to consume. Mountain snowpacks are melting earlier, taking away the natural water supply that forests depend on through summer. And lightning, a natural ignition source, increases by about 12% for every 1 degree Celsius of warming. Scientists have confirmed that climate change has doubled the number of large fires in the western U.S. since 1984. But here is what makes this truly alarming. Wildfires don't just respond to climate change. They make it worse. When forests burn, the carbon stored in trees and plants is released as carbon dioxide, trapping more heat in the atmosphere. Wildfires add around 5 to 8 billion tons of CO2 every single year. They also release black carbon, a super pollutant that intensifies heat waves and accelerates the melting of ice and snow. The result is a dangerous loop. Climate change causes more wildfires. More wildfires release more carbon. More carbon makes the planet hotter, and a hotter planet creates even worse wildfires. This is also a public health emergency. Wildfire smoke contains tiny particles that pass deep into your lungs and bloodstream, worsening asthma, damaging the heart and brain, and harming pregnancies. In 2020, California wildfire smoke turned city skies orange and drifted all the way to Europe. In Brazil, pollution from fires reached 60 times above the World Health Organization's safe limits. The economic damage is equally staggering. Australian wildfires alone produced carbon emissions 1.6 times the country's entire annual output. So what can we do? The most important step is cutting greenhouse gas emissions by reducing our dependence on oil, gas, and coal. Protecting and restoring forests is equally critical. Healthy forests absorb CO2 and resist fire far better. Reducing black carbon delivers fast results since it only stays in the atmosphere for days to weeks. And experts say we should spend 2/3 of our resources on prevention and preparation, not just fighting fires after they start. Wildfires have always been part of our world, but what we are living through today is different. The scale, the frequency, the destruction, this is what climate change looks like in real time. We know what is causing it. We know what to do. Less carbon, less heat. Fewer fires. Share this. Talk about it. Demand action, because this planet is the only home we've got.